Hello, everybody. I am going to talk to you about learning plans through Google Classroom. So Google Classroom serves as the platform for communication in this case and houses lessons as well as the plan for each student. So on my screen, this is my classwork screen. You can see that I have a lot of topics on the left-hand side. The key to this is to make it really easy for parents and students to find this. And so the topic that I always have at the top is called Learning Plan. And so the due date is at the end of the year so that it doesn't expire. And you go into this, you can see that a lot of them have been turned in and returned to me. And so if I go into, and I'm going to look at all of them, and I won't go into any specific students who's real since this is recorded, and I want to make sure to reserve their privacy. But every single student has their own learning plan. Those students who are completing off-site learning without online access, I'm still creating a learning plan for them, and then I take a picture or download it and text it to their parents. And so that's how we communicate. And so the communication platform is different, but where it's stored is the same. And that's really important because on these, I can download the entire folder and have that for a record. So the learning plan serves as, and I'm going to click into our fake student. And of course I can't find her. Jean Gray, she's not real. And so Jean Gray isn't real, but you can see that her learning plan has a introduction, and then for every single week or 2 week, it will have some plans in there for her. And so what's important about this is that all of the links, usernames, etc., are in the same place for the family. The other function that this has is that at any point, if we are curious of what so-and-so has done for offsite learning, it can be printed off. And so I'm recording feedback on this plan as well as student communication. And so what Jean could do, should she be real, and this is an example, is make a comment that has a question, and then she would have a turn in button up here. This is on my interface, so you can't see that. So she can turn that in and it goes straight into my inbox. I can see that that's been turned in. I look for her entry or her feedback to see where she's at, respond, and then return it to her. And we can do that as many times as we can. And so I have this assignment as ungraded. Every student has one, and the due date is set for the end of the year. Another feature on the plan is that students are asked to create or asked to record what they're building or creating and any physical activity. And so that's included as part of their plan. They can use the specialist links in order to do that, or they can do that on their own. And this just allows me to check in with the whole child every single week, because when they turn this into me, they're required to turn it into me at least once a week. Some students turn theirs in every day. Some of them turn it in several times a day, and that they want that feedback back and forth. And it's just really streamlined once it gets started, because it is, kind of a pain to get things started. But what I do is I create a framework of what I want assigned in this fake student Jean Gray's, and I copy and paste that into every student and adjust it based on their own personal learning plan. So not everybody is doing the same thing. Just like in an IEP, there are individual goals. Students have individual goals for offsite learning due to their capacities and what they're able to do, what they're setting out to do for goals, but also due to what's going on with their families right now. If they have an opportunity to be connected online or not, and what time and space is created in that family for offsite learning, where they're at, depending on if their parents are working. There are a lot of different variables, as we know. And so these two spaces allow me to check in with the whole child, and I can see if Jean has had some creative time and if she's getting any physical activity, and engage with her about that. Also, this We Are Connected part is about the whole child. This is me trying to give every single student an opportunity to interact with their classmates. If they're off-site, they're writing letters to a pen pal in the classroom, and their parents are taking a picture of that and texting it to me. Then I text it to the other family, and so forth. And so they're still keeping in contact with their classmates, even if they are not connected online. And then we have all the other different topics. And so really the highlights of the offsite learning plan, the individual learning plan, is that the due date's set for the end of the year. It's ungraded, so you can turn it in and return it as many times as possible, and you're not assigning points to that. And then parents and students know how to get into this plan. This gives parents a little bit of control and a feeling of organization, because everything's in one spot. I have parents that comment on this as well as me, and then anytime I update learning plans with feedback, I post that on class tag and let parents know that they can go in and see where their students are at. So instead of parents checking a lot of different websites to see where their kids are, I'm doing that and feeding it into this system instead. And so it's this hub for parents and students. And then this is a record of my planning, and so what I have been doing during this offsite time, but it's also a record of what students have been doing and how they've been progressing. So I put feedback on here, as well as when they do complete something or don't complete something. And so if and when we're held accountable for this time, I can print out these sheets, and my planning has already been my recording. And so it's all done in one step instead of two different steps. And then looking at the whole child, so it's not just academics, but also asking them to fill in that activate and connect part, as well as the create and build. That's part of that design too. And so thank you for listening. Hopefully I covered everything. And thank you.